Yeah, so men marry for all the wrong reasons, including checking boxes, blah, blah. But so do women. So do women. The difference is that men actually benefit from that relationship that they're doing for the wrong reason, that contract that they're signing for all the wrong reasons, that has a whole system behind it, legally, culturally, systemically, basically, to make sure they benefit from it. And women do not. And that's one of the reasons why I make my content, because we have been sold this, like, every time we start questioning things, patriarchy is brilliant and it's adaptable and it's like water, and sometimes it's going to be, like snow, another time it's going to be rain, evaporate into whatever, steam, but it is always going to find a way. Same thing with white supremacy and all of these things, right? It is adaptable, and this is why, men are not stupid. They're adaptable, especially they will do anything to stay in power. Anything, including somehow making it into us begging men to propose to us. Do you know, like, at least in the US, back in the day that, all these men glorify, where our grandmas were actually being held hostage and, were miserable because they were literally held hostage. Back in those days, and even in like my mom's day, like a lot of men at least knew they had to work for this, they had to impress a woman. They had to like court her, because she understood what a big deal it was to get married. Her parents understood what a big deal it was to get married and who that partner was. Now, again, it sucked, but at least men had to do something. And now that we have our own money, now they have convinced us. They're being like, look, I've got the ring. Look at me. Like, that's some sort of flex. You know what? You should have 10 rings. You should have a bunch of men being like, please marry me. Because men are going to benefit from it, right? They're going to exploit us unless they're deconstructing patriarchy, healing their trauma, and really have the will and the courage to face all this crap. They will exploit you in marriage. Oh, and they also have to love the crap out of you. They have to do all those things. And if they're not doing all those things, they will exploit you because they've been conditioned under this stuff, right? But now, women are like just begging men to propose, right? Which is one of my mutual calls, the shut up ring. One of my other mutuals, I'm going to tag both of them. She made a whole video the other day about how it doesn't seem like so many women that she knows who got married at like 30, because a lot of women are doing exactly what men are. They're marrying for the wrong reason. I know so many women, once they started being afraid of their fertility stuff, like they see, like 40 coming. Like, how many women do you know get married at like 37, 38, 39, and then immediately have a baby, right? Do you think that that's because that is truly, I'm not saying it's always like this, right? But especially women who want to be mothers and they are convinced that they have to find a partner to be a mother, when we all know now that married single moms are so much worse off than actual single moms, because at least you don't have one extra child. The king baby, who literally is more oppressive and more demanding and more tiring and just awful in general than all the children combined, right? But so many women are so afraid they're not going to find a partner in time to have a family that they start getting desperate, especially midway through their 30s, and then they settle. Now, I'm not saying that those women don't treat those men really well and that they don't love those men, but a lot of women settle for the first man who's nice to them, the first man who just pays attention to them, even if they know intuitively that that's not the best guy for them, or even if they know that he's kind of a jerk, but you know what? He's got security and he's got this and this and this, right? And I don't have a ring. Y'all, this is not a flex. This is not a flex. I'm very proud of my marriage. I'm so proud of us. But the only reason that I mentioned that I'm married on here is to show you that I know what it's like to be married. And I also was single until I was 42. So I kind of know the whole thing. And also people are like, yeah, just better that get down there with your cat. It's like, okay, I'm married and I have a dog, okay, right there, totally sleeping right now. But people assume that because I warn people about this stuff, that I must hate marriage and hate men. No, I hate patriarchy. And so now they've brilliantly convinced us to be bridezillas, to spend like $100,000. I don't even know who has that. We spent $1,000 on our wedding and it was gorgeous. And there's a video on that if you want to go look for it. And it was so special and so beautiful. But they convinced us to spend the money that we should be spending on a house for our special day that's all about us. It shouldn't be about you. It should be about the couple and about love. But For us, we've been convinced that it's about this picture on Facebook. Look, I said yes. He finally proposed, right? They have mind forked us. And then they partnered up with capitalism to be like, let's make a fortune off of these crazy, needy ladies that will get them excited about their funeral. Because that's what weddings really are for most women. Unless you find a true partner who loves the crap out of you and who is willing to unpack patriarchy and who can talk about feminism and can talk about domestic labor and task and what's fair. If you have a man who is too afraid of those conversations, is like, you just hate men. That dude is going to exploit the crap out of you. And yet here we are begging these men who don't even like us, who are just tolerating us, who will drag us along for years and years and years and only marry us to literally get all of this. Because they are afraid they'll lose access to all that we do for them. They only marry to settle down, check the boxes and all the things that you said in that comment. But the big difference is that, one, when women don't get married, we have a stigma. But I think that's changing. I think now women who are single and holding out and protecting their peace and not settling, those are going to be our new heroes. And I'm here for it. Getting married is not a flex. Being happily married with a man who loves the crap out of you and makes your life easier, now that's a flex, but that's hard to find. But they've convinced us with wedding culture and all these dating shows. I'm ready to get married. Why? You're ready for your funeral? You just want a ring? You just want to get married? Your mom won't get off your back, so you're going to ruin your life? Your mom wants to give her a grandchild as if it's a little gift? A gift to her that you have to forever ruin your life to take care of? I understand the pressure of society. Patriarchy puts so much pressure on us to check those boxes, fill those roles that we've been conditioned to think brings us our only meaning. And if we don't do that, we're going to be called a cat lady the rest of our life. But if we can post that photo on Instagram, I said yes. And then after that, the newborn photo, we have finally made it as women. Getting married to a man who will exploit you, and then especially having a child or one or more with that same man, will literally ruin your life. You will lose yourself, or you will never even have an opportunity to find yourself, because all of us, especially those who continue to date men, like cishet women who continue to date men, if we don't take a break from that and really learn how to love ourselves alone, love our single lives, love the peace that we have when we're alone, so that any man who enters our life, if he doesn't match that and then make our lives better, is not worth it. Because women get exploited in marriage more often than not, and marry for the wrong reasons, because men exploit our hope. They exploit our patriarchal conditioning and the pressure we're under to get married and have kids. They know we're under that pressure. And now they've used that and wedding culture and like bridezilla stuff to humiliate us into begging for our own oppression. Do you see how smart they are, y'all? They are brilliant. They're dumb as rocks, but they're also so brilliant.